The Thrivehood Podcast is a relevant life roadmap for boys and young men who want to thrive as they mature into manhood. I'll be your host, Tim Williams, and welcome to Thrivehood. Welcome into the Thrivehood Podcast. I am your host, Tim Williams. Hey, would you do me a favor? You know the drill, guys. Subscribe, download, give me some reviews. Check out my website, thrivehoodpodcast.com. I have a YouTube channel at Thrivehood Podcast. I'm all over the place as far as social media. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Parler. The list goes on and on. I'm all over the place. So spread the love. If you see one of my posts, I would appreciate it if you would forward that out to your peeps. That would be great. I would greatly appreciate it. So, today's topic, wishing misfortune on others. Now, I don't know how heavy of a topic this is, but I thought about this, and there were some recent situations that took place that I was aware of, not me personally, but some things that happened, and I don't know, sort of got me thinking, and I thought, you know what, this would be good for these young men out here to hear this, and I think it would be something, at least if anything, just to make you aware. Let's start off with a word for the day. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast about building your own vocabulary, but I actually learned a word as I was getting ready for this presentation. That word is, and I hope I say this right, is epicaricacy. I think I said that right, epicaricacy. The definition of that word is rejoicing at or deriving pleasure from the misfortunes of others. Epicaricacy. So there's a big $10 word you can use and impress your friends and your family with it. Anyway, so I digress. Let's move on. So I want to talk a little bit about this, and let's sort of set the stage, and then I'll make a couple of points as I always do, and then we'll finish up. So the stage is this. You have an altercation, right? You have an issue, you have a challenge, a disagreement, a misunderstanding. Someone has done you wrong, right? Someone gossiped about you or spread lies, or your girlfriend broke up with you, or your mom and dad's on your case, or your boss at work is, down your throat, whatever, right? Teachers yelling at you because your grades stink, or whatever the case may be. And you have in your mind, you've decided, man, they deserve, right? You know where I'm going. Man, they deserve something to happen to them, whatever that is, And we can get as colorful with that as we want to, right? It runs the gamut of anywhere from, man, I hope my mom stubs her toe in the middle of the night going to the bathroom because she ticked me off, to very evil and very awful things that we think about people. It is, unfortunately, it's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are when we come into this world, which is why Thrivehood Podcast is here for you young guys. That's, again, trying to move you into the best possible position as you move into manhood. So that sort of sets the stage, right? Well, what happens after that? Well, sometimes, and a lot of times, nothing happens, right? We wish ill will on somebody because they did us wrong, or at least we feel they did us wrong. Nothing ever happens, or you just kind of go on with your life. You sort of get over it, right? There are also scenarios where something does happen, right? Something takes place, and you're like, whoa, wow, well, me wishing that sort of kind of worked. That's kind of wild, So the first thought is surprise, right? Just sort of track with me here a second. If this is all happening internally in our mind, the second step is joy, right? We're excited. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, they got what they deserve. Maybe your girlfriend broke up with you, and, 2 weeks later you find out that, she was with another guy, but less than a month later, he dumped her, and so now you're like, woohoo, yeah, throw a party. Well, I think something else happens. The scenario is you wish something bad on someone, but something worse than what you wish. You wish that your mom, let's go back to that analogy, you wish your mom would stub her toe in the middle of the night going to the bathroom because, she was on you about grades. But she ends up getting up in the middle of the night and slips and breaks her leg, right? So there's also that sometimes comes into play, and we're like, oh, wow, man, I wasn't really, that's not what I had in mind. Maybe we're sort of, talking to God like, okay, God, whoa, hey, that's not what I was asking for. I just wanted to stub her toe, right? So you've got different scenarios here playing out. I think there is also another step and another process to this that we don't really talk about or admit, and that is we probably feel bad. There's a little bit of, wow, I'm sort of feel bad about that. That's sort of, gosh, I guess I'm sort of happy, but now I'm sort of glad. And there is this conflict that happens in us. Maybe not every time. There could be sometimes you're happy that this happens, but that sets up, that's sort of the process, right? From wishing ill will to we sort of see. And then in a lot of cases, you never hear about it. You never hear from them, but we sort of move on. I want to make a few points about this, asking for God to bring judgment on other people that we feel that have done us wrong, or maybe they truly have. And here is a couple of points. The first point is this. If you listen to any of my podcasts and in my episodes in the past, you'll know this phrase by heart by now. And that is, we are either building up or we're tearing down. We're either encouraging or we're discouraging. We're either helping someone or ourselves to be better, or we're pushing ourselves or someone down. So when you bring that context to this particular subject that we're speaking of, you can argue that, well, Tim, in this case, it sort of does both. I'm building myself up because I should be, I shouldn't have been treated like that, and I'm tearing them down because they need it, right? But come on, guys. We know the truth. The foundation and what lies underneath all of that is, at any point, we're tearing anybody down or anyone down or anything down or ourselves down. Regardless of how much we can justify it, right? I'm saying that in air quotes, justify it. The truth of the matter is it doesn't help. It does no good. It may make us feel good for a very short period of time, but we all know that it rains on the just and the unjust, right? We know that bad things happen to good people as well as bad people, and it happens to all of us. So I would say, check yourself. There's a video I saw a while back. I don't know where it was, but he was a substitute teacher or something. I can't remember. And he was like, you better check yourself, right? You better check yourself. You need to keep in perspective, as I'm thinking this way, is this a good thing? Is this the right thing? Point number 2, do you want to become that kind of person? Do you want to be the type of person that the only way that they feel better about themselves is by tearing other people down? Look, I have been around those people. Those people are not my friends. I have been around those people. Those people I distance myself from because there are other issues that are going on in that individual's life. It's sad. I wish that they could get help. I wish someone could maybe show them the way. But again, they've got to be willing. They've got to be open to that. But the truth is, if you haven't already, you will be around those people. And their goal and their mantra is to continue to push other people's ideas and their education and their wisdom and their insight and their all kinds of stuff. How tall they are, the way they look, the way they dress, everything. It all comes under this heading of, as long as I can make myself look good at the expense of others, then we have achieved our goal. We mean, me, myself, and I. And guys, nobody wants to be around that. No one wants a relationship like that. Nobody wants to make friends with someone that they have the idea that at some point, my buddy here is going to talk down to me. My buddy's going to say something that's disparaging or discouraging, or he's going to put me down. And sometimes it comes off as being funny and having fun, but the true reality is there's something deeper there. And I would say allowing this idea, you begin to massage that idea and that thought, that's going to become a part of your life if you're not careful. Now, I'm not saying that people that are that way, people that are talking down to others, it's because of this. No, it could be, it's probably the background and their upbringing and maybe some of the challenges they had in their family life and their, maybe relationships, who knows, right? Maybe they're just insecurity and self-esteem issues. And then my last point is this. Be careful not to let this become your go-to thinking. okay? Be careful that, and this is probably the most important, be careful of how you think. Pay attention to what you think. Pay attention to how often you are entertaining your thoughts. If your go-to thinking every time you have an altercation with someone is to wish the worst on them, and that becomes more and more and more, and it grows, right? All of a sudden, you have formed a habit that is just as much of a cancer in your life as anything else. That is what you have to look out for, and that's what you need to be careful, and that would probably be my primary message today. Be careful in how you think, guys. Okay, so somebody did you wrong. Something took place, even if you were right. And maybe periodically we think bad things, because we all do. But harness that thought. Grab that thought for a minute and say, wait a minute, hold on a minute here. I could be justified in this. I could truly, if something happened, I would probably be happy about it. But if I begin to take on that idea and that thinking process going forward for the rest of my life, guys, that doesn't go away. And that just doesn't stay at the level that it is now. It will continue to grow, and it will gain traction, and it will build muscle in your thinking, and it will begin to control you. And look, this is important. Hear this. Look at our country today. Half of America is against the other half. Look at our politics. Look at the race relations. Look at all of the things that are taking place in our country. We are at a point now that we can't even have civil conversations without somebody saying, I wish you'd die and go to hell, or I wish I could blow your brains out, or I wish I could cut your head off, or going over and grabbing a bat and beating somebody's brains out, which I saw recently, because we simply disagree with someone else. So understand, and again, I don't know where all of that comes from. I'm not saying that, again, I'm not saying this is at the core of why people turn into the evils that they turn into, but this sure as heck can't help it. This sure as heck doesn't take away. I would think this is an addition to whatever else is going on in people's hearts and minds as it relates to how to deal with other people and dealing with issues and quite frankly, agreeing to disagree. And that used to be something we could do, right? That's something we were able to do years ago. We can't do that anymore. Again, I am wanting to just throw out the idea that while we rejoice in the pleasures of the misfortunes of others, I think there is part of that is our human nature, but I also say we need to harness how we think, and we need to keep that under control. And it's not just this. It's anything in our life. It's any way that we are thinking and what we're thinking about. And I'll obviously have more episodes about the different areas of our life and different thoughts we have and thought patterns and habits we're creating. But particular, as I sort of just zero in on this particular topic, let's harness that. Let's keep that in check and don't allow that to become bigger than who we are and to the point that we can't control that. You guys know this. Anything you can't control is controlling you, right? This is just one of many topics in many areas of our life that we have to keep under control. Until next time, guys, stay strong.